If you're a coach, consultant, or strategist, I'm sure you've created tons of group programs, one on one experiences, and done all the things to grow your business. Even in a group program, though, there is a cap. More clients mean more Q&A calls, more coaches, more systems, more things to help your business grow and scale in the way that you desire. Now, maybe you have some goals or dreams to 10x your business and go even further because who doesn't want to continue to grow this amazing transformational company that you've grown? But you might be thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to hire the right team? What does $10 million look like versus maybe $1 million or $2 million company that you're running right now? I want to give you a key. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is not about hiring more team members. It's not about scaling on ads. It's not about doing all the things that you may be hearing and seeing others do as they grow a business. It is the secret of turning those multiple clients that you have inside of your group programs into one large client. In this video, we're going to talk about how to scale your business with corporate contracts in an easy, simple way that doesn't require you to do anything more than what you have right now. So let's get into it. The first step in this process is going to be to take inventory. I want you to go through everything that you've created over the years, your frameworks, your processes, your certifications, even those workshops and programs that you've run over the years. Take inventory of exactly what the end result of those things are. Yes, you might be used to working with business owners or individuals, but there's always a deeper root that can be applied in the corporate context. So here's how this can look. Maybe you are a sales coach and you work with people to help them grow and scale their businesses. Well, as a former account executive, that would be highly valuable to people who are like me inside of Fortune 500 organizations that had a quota of multiple millions of dollars that they needed to sell every single quarter. How can your strategies help me as a salesperson inside of a company which has a entrepreneur-like role be able to take what you share with me and create millions and millions of dollars more than I would have done without your frameworks and processes? So think like that. Yes, what is the charge to the individual? But when that person is inside of a company with the resources, the backing, the structure, they can take those same skill sets and be able to go 10 times as far. That's how you need to think about what you have in your toolkit. Now, step two is to take a look at the resources that you have to be able to deliver on these projects. Now, a lot of times you may have heard the term subcontracting, where an individual has a contract and they might call you in order to support that in your area of expertise. Did you know you can create your own method of subcontracting within your organization? Now, I want you to think about this. You've trained thousands of people in your methods. People have worked with you probably for 3, 4, 5 years in order to grow their business or whatever it is that you specifically work with people on. So why not use those people as your contractors as you go into these organizations? Perhaps you already thought about it. Maybe you started doing a certification program on your methods and you're already ahead of the game. Now, what I want you to think about is how you ensure that your people are properly trained, not just in your methods, but also in how they deliver and express your brand in the corporate context. This is going to be super important. So as you are training them, have some areas where they can get some support on how to show up as the proper individual and proper consultant as they go inside of these organizations. Now, this could look like ensuring that they have proper etiquette, right? Sometimes people are very good in head knowledge, but when it comes to operating in a corporate setting, they need a little bit of work. So you want to make sure that as you get into these accounts, you don't want to lose them, and you don't want to be the scarlet letter in vendor world of organizations that people don't want to work with because their consultants aren't professional. So that is a key piece to this as you're thinking about scaling and growing your business in this way. Of course, you're going to be professional as the CEO, but whoever's representing you should have a certain level and certain standard when they walk into organizations representing your brand. The simplest way to do this is going to be to have some type of on-demand training that walks them through how to properly engage with a corporation, from etiquette, from ensuring that they understand who is in charge of this particular engagement and where they should be going to if they need support. and ultimately how to present your topics in a way that reaches an organizational context. And so if you need help developing that type of curriculum, maybe that's not your background, you want to reach out to us so that you can get support in this area. We'd be happy to share with you what we do. But even if you do it yourself, just make sure you have some training element that prepares them for these opportunities so that you don't have a six-figure mistake on your hands. Okay, so step number 3, once you've got these things in place, you've taken inventory of your materials and your frameworks, you've prepped your team to be able to deliver with you so that way you can multiply yourself in these opportunities. Now you are ready to sell it. This is where you're going to go out and find these opportunities where it might be an RFP, it might be you doing some pitching, it might be you reaching out to your network and letting them know you now are a training organization that has access to dozens of consultants that are trained in your particular methods and are ready to go inside of these organizations and transform their teams, their processes, and their procedures. You can use that because that's fire on its own, and that's going to get you into some doors if that is your expertise. But that's the lens that you want to begin taking, whether it is you do something like leadership development or transformational coaching, or you do something around marketing or sales, whatever your expertise is. The point is to position yourself as an organization with multiple people who can support and deliver on your methods. One of the questions that I often hear when I meet with decision makers, and I'm kind of listening into what they're asking vendors, is how many people are on your team? If you say it's just you, or if they are expecting, if they hire you for a speaking engagement or to do a workshop or facilitation, that it's just you, I can tell you right now, you're not getting that opportunity. And I'm just going to be real with you because they're going to smile and say, oh, great, cool. I'm glad you're getting started. They're going to be excited that you are in business and that you're successful, but they won't think that you can service them. Because when we're talking about larger organizations, there is no just one person coming in to do facilitation. They want a full solution, which is going to require multiple people who are an expert at what they do, but who also have the business acumen to be able to do it well. So when you're selling it, you want to make sure that you have that in place. From there, you want to get into rooms where these decision makers are. That's where the conversations are going to happen quickly, and that's where the opportunities are going to move quickly. So you want to be very clear on what it is that you provide to organizations. So you're going to have to switch. If you're used to talking about what you do with entrepreneurs or individuals, yes, your work remains the same. How you talk about it is what's different, because that's the difference in them smiling and saying great job and saying we need to talk. And that's what you want to hear in every conversation. We need to talk. So once you have those conversations in the room, you want to have a process of how you'll move it forward. Most people get stuck here. They don't have a follow-up process. They don't have a system working in the back end. They don't have the proper team trained. We talked about team in order to deliver. You also have to have a team to run the back end of this process, meaning follow-ups, meaning sending proposals, meaning making those initial contacts. Otherwise, this process doesn't work. So once you have those opportunities in the door and you have those follow-ups in place and you have a real structured system, you will start to see your pipeline multiply greatly, where it would have taken a launch, where it would have taken a bunch of team members, where it would have taken hiring additional coaches, because as much as we like to say that group programs and things are scalable, that's more people, that's more questions, that's more systems. However, when you go into a corporate context, you're there to deliver your thing and you're there to go home. Now, yes, your consultants and your people, you want to make sure you have them in place and working efficiently, but ultimately you come in and deliver and you go home, because the company has many different ways that they support people, and it's not just solely on what you provide as a consulting organization. That's what I love about corporate contracts. You get to stay in your zone and go home. Some other methods that you can use in order to sell this to organizations who are looking for what you have to offer is making sure your brand stands out on LinkedIn. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people say, and I've experienced this myself, that people found them from a search on LinkedIn. It is hugely used in terms of corporations looking for brand new people to serve particular needs. So if you're not over there, even if your profile is, up, but it's not together, you're missing out on six-figure opportunities every single day. Get on LinkedIn, get your profile uploaded, and make sure that you have clear indications on how an organization can hire you and get results based on the expertise and background that you have. Another method is just good old outreach. Now you're talking to a sales girl. Like I have done, not at all, I haven't done door to door, but I have done cold calling, cold emails, cold on site. I guess I have done knocking on doors, but more of corporate doors, not door to door in a neighborhood. Anyway, so I've done all versions of sales. So there's a part of me that is going to hunt, right? So I'm not going to simply wait for people to knock down my door for an opportunity. I'm going to create an environment for that to happen. But while that's happening, I'm also going to have a system that's running on the back end on my behalf to place me in front of these folks that need what I have to offer. So that can look like doing email campaigns. That could look like doing LinkedIn campaigns. That could look like partnering with other individuals and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Who do you know that could be a good fit for this? Make a warm introduction if you're open to that. So as a busy CEO, as a thriving entrepreneur, you don't have time to do those things on your own. So you have to prepare your team to be able to do those things on the back end, because anyone can send an email. You give them the framework and the process, what they need to do, they can send the emails. They can't be you in a room. That's why I recommend having a multi-layer approach to your sales system that requires you to do the pieces you can do, be a representative of your organization, go and do speaking engagements, make those in-person meetings. However, the team at volume should be doing outreach on a daily basis to bring in some of those opportunities that are going to be low-hanging fruit, where people are willing to talk, where maybe they did just have a meeting about this and pop, here you are in their inbox, giving them an opportunity to have a conversation with you about it. I have seen opportunities move actually in as soon as 2 weeks with a client that we had recently, just from that strategy. So we don't want to leave those opportunities on the table, but we want to make sure we're using your time effectively and training your team to be effective in these processes. Again, if you're like, listen, I don't know all this stuff, I would love to be able to train my team to do it. They don't know any of this stuff. So I need to be able to get support in order to move faster with this. This is a part of what we do as an organization. And so you can do it on your own. I just gave you an outline. However, if you're like, nope, I need help, you want to contact us, because this is going to be important to growing your opportunities, but it's also going to be important to you saving time, headache, struggle, and stress by trying to train your team on your own. All right, so let's do a recap. You don't need to have more team. You don't need to have more launches, more clients in order to scale your business to the 10x level, right? What you can do is be more strategic about how you turn what you already have and massively increase the value by working with corporations who not only have the budget to spend, but they have the problem at such a scale that they're willing to pay a premium for an expert that can come in and help them solve it. When that match comes together, it is a win-win-win. You win as the organization, the client corporation wins because they get served, and those within that organization, which I'm so passionate about, they get served by the frameworks and processes that you are able to expose them to so they can be better leaders, better employees, and ultimately better individuals. All right, so if you enjoyed this video as much as I did, I want to hear your comments in the box below. Let me know what stood out to you, what you're still thinking of. Is this a process you and your team are already considering? Where are you getting stuck? I'm going to be creating more videos like this, so as you ask questions, it's going to help me develop more content, and I'll even shout you out in the video for the question. So make sure you drop a comment below giving me some insights, some feedback, or what you want to hear more so that I can continue to do more videos like this for you all. If you've gotten to the end of this video and maybe you still have a few more questions, you know, if you're honest, the team isn't quite right, the pitch might not be right, and maybe even the delivery isn't set up to create multiple opportunities once you get your foot in the door, then listen, I've got something just for you. We created a brand new assessment that gives you a full report on all the gaps that exist currently in your corporate contracting processes. And even better, we give you the exact steps to be able to fill those gaps so you can be more successful as you go after these opportunities. We have created a set of questions that evaluate your positioning, your offers, your pitch and outreach process, and your delivery. We've already had a few people go through this assessment, and the feedback so far has been great. People are walking away with clear steps on how they need to move forward in order to scale their business with contracts. And I want to invite you to take the assessment. Click the link below or go to our website, which is kirstenjallen.com/scorecard, and take the 5-minute assessment. I promise it'll be the best 5 minutes that you spend today. And with your full report, you'll be able to take that with your team to be able to incorporate these strategies and grow your business with corporate contracts. So go ahead and take the assessment. I can't wait for the results, and I will see you soon on the next video.